So I'm a Joburg girl. I was born in the Free State. My dad's a mining man, but I went to school half junior school in the Free State, and then moved to Rustenburg because my dad was with the platinum mines. And then I studied in Joburg. I did the PR diploma at Wits Tech. And I got into PR thinking it was going to be glamorous and wonderful, all these fabulous cocktail parties. Of course, it was sheer hard work, because most of my work that I did was a crisis communication, a lot of writing. I dealt with unions for one of my clients. I did a lot of IT, PR, and it was certainly not glamorous. People think it's an easy technique, but it's actually not. It's very frustrating, it's very expensive, and despite what people say, that you can use house paint, you simply cannot. Absolutely not. That is the biggest no-no. You can't use house paint, and especially if you're selling your work. If anybody's starting out in flow art, start out with cheap paints and try it. And develop your technique, because everybody has a different technique. Important thing with my kind of art is to get the consistency of every single color that you're using correct, so that you can't have one thinner than the other, because it's just going to sink through, or heavier, it's just going to sink through, or it's going to dilute the others. You know, a lot of artists that do traditional art will take like 3 weeks to complete a painting, and they'll let the various layers dry. With flow art, you've got to do it in one go. So a big part of the process is the mixing of the paints. And it can take me sometimes 4 hours to mix paints when people might say, well, that sounds ridiculous, but it isn't, because I mix quite a lot at one go, and especially the white. I do use a lot of white paint, because I use that as the basis to get the flowing going, you know, and then I'll sometimes add it afterwards as well. And then if I'm doing a dirty pour, then I'll put in the white layers in between. But as I said, you know, you have to get your consistencies correct. You can't have one that is like a thin milkshake and another one like a double thick milkshake, because it's just not going to work, and then you're going to have a disaster. And believe you me, I've had a lot of those, not because the paint has been vastly different, but you put paint onto the canvas, and then you've got to move it in a certain way, and you've got to be careful that you don't get all the paint off on one side, because then you'll spoil the formation or the pattern that you're creating, and then it's a total mess up. So there have been times where I've actually just scotched the whole thing, and you know, my late builder built me painting tables, because I paint flat. In flow art you have to paint flat. I had a local interior designer. She's very, very well known, in fact world renowned, and she said to me, "Ellie, I love your work, but you know, can you do it on a wall?" And I said, well, you know, if you want to push the wall over and then put it up again, but, you know, and I wish I could, but you can't, you know. So that's why I went into going into the print side of my business and printed wallpaper, because then you can take the art and put it on the wall, you know. So I had my exhibition in New York, and that was in 2018, which was very successful, and I broke the gallery record. My one painting, in fact, was the most expensive one, was sold within 20 minutes of the exhibition opening to the public. And it had never happened so quickly in the 35 years of the gallery's existence, so that was quite nice. I'm going to continue in this. It's been good for me. It's the decor part has been really good. The art, of course, has as well, and it's brought me a lot of pleasure. And yeah, you know, it's just something that I enjoy.